Before we go any further, I think it's important to stress that this video is explicitly for the love of theory crafting and a bit of fun. Like all good art, much of this will be up to perspective and interpretation, so none of us are technically wrong. As long as our hearts are in it, that's what matters. Our first frame is of Silky lying in bed looking up at the ceiling. This is a pretty odd ceiling at first, but this is because they are at a love hotel. The sky, or rather, the universe, is a major recurring theme throughout this short story, and that's for a good reason. And everything that she does it for the stars that shine, or her lucky stars. In particular, the one in her life, her daughter. No matter where she is, what she does, she can always look up and see a reminder that all of this is worth something, that this sacrifice is not in vain because her daughter drives her to do what she can to help her. We see her surrounded with her clothes strewn about, a laced bra to her right, a timer. Above her head, a phone to call the head of the desk to check out, tissues, 2 ripped packs of condoms, and a trash can full of tissues and even more condoms. This is important because it shows the grimy and disgusting feeling of the transaction that just took place in the aftermath. Like everything around her, she is discarded just as easily as the tissue in the trash can. It symbolizes Silky's current status in society, discarded and used. And we see all the nightstand, her keys, with what looks to be a key fob or trinket of some significance. We then see the traffic lights go red. This is another layer of symbolism, as working men and women often congregate into safe areas called red light districts. This shows that she is currently in one of those districts. After all, she was just in a love hotel, which is where they usually are located anyway. So walking through the rainy street with an umbrella to shield her from the rain, this is another important piece of symbolism. Rain is often used to represent a character's inner emotional being or their state of mind. The rain precisely represents the feelings of her vulnerability, and the act of it raining upon her with only an umbrella to guard her from the cold rain is a sense of loss of self, that she has sold away what makes her special. Her love. She sees a striking, beautiful red dress meant for a little girl. The beauty of it stops her, but there isn't a sense of awe or appreciation, more of a sense of longing. We see she is also this beautiful woman, with a beauty mark below her right eye and fair hair and skin. This makes the scene even more sadder because nobody wants to see a lady like her sad and alone. She sees the dress, mouth agape as she realizes this would be beautiful for her daughter. She then realizes right there that she can't provide this for her, however. She feels at this moment that she isn't doing enough for her daughter, that she is not enough. So she walks away, returning home. Outside of her apartment, we see that her place isn't the worst. It's stable, but it's also not the place you'd want to be living in either. The apartment complex on the outside represents her perceived destitution, pretty much. She then walks up to the door, puts the key in the door, and freezes in place. If you were to stop the scene here, you may assume that she may not make it through the night. But thankfully, she is saved, as behind the door is an adorable little girl, her daughter, ready to embrace her. Contrasted against the dark night, the apartment radiates a brilliant warm light, a warm light that represents the sun or a star, because in the darkness of the city, there is only one thing in her world that could hope to light it up. It is her daughter that she revolves around, that is her world, her sun, the star in which her planets orbit. Just from the lighting of the scene alone, the clash of cold blue with the warm orange, it contains all of the warmth within it, all of the love, all of the hope that Silky is able to recharge her soul and continue on to the next day because of. It's upon seeing this, I realize that this mother is returning home and leaving her daughter all alone throughout the day. However, just from the details in this frame, we know that she doesn't neglect her daughter willingly. It's a good sign. The shoes to her right in the background show that she taught her daughter proper home etiquette to neatly put away her shoes as she comes in. Not only that, but the rug is clean. The floor is clean. The little lady is quite respectful to her own surroundings and cleans up after herself. Looking down at her, we see a face that was once devoid of color light up with a bright and charming smile as she combs the sides of her hair back behind her ear. Silky was okay with showing her vulnerability to her daughter while also trying to hide it to not worry her either. But none of it really is a lie, mind you, all of this is genuine. She kneels down, tells her she is home, and picks her up, and the two head inside, sheltered by the warmth of family from the cold, wet darkness of the city. This is where she belongs, and this is the person who gives her purpose to live. We then see Silky, who works as a janitor during the day to make ends meet, which means not only does she sell her body to the streets, but she is also in the position of a janitor, a woman who is truly remarkable in the sense that she is this beautiful mother who is in a position in society where she is forgotten and fallen through the cracks. And we see how odd the situation really is at the moment too. The family's all around her, happy, eating ice cream together while she has to clean up. This should be her and her daughter, right? But instead, she's working. This is important because Silky sees this and realizes that she can't provide the same life as those families. This in turn makes her feel even more inadequate to her little girl and to society itself, and she is forced to neglect her daughter so that she can make sure she has a home over her head. It's cruel, it's unfair, and yet the lesson she learns from that is that she may be a failure. However, in the face of this inadequacy, Silky does not give up, because she can take anything the world dishes out to her because of her daughter. This is her shield, her umbrella in the rain on a cold, dark night. She pushes forward with these feelings bottling up as she teaches her daughter to be a ballerina. This is the girl's passion, and this is yet another example that just because it looks like she is a red light girl doesn't mean she isn't a good person. In fact, a book can often have a deceiving cover. It becomes clear by this point that Silky is an incredible, powerful, and independent woman who has learned all of the tools she has to survive alone. But there is one tool that she learned from someone else: love. We learn through the background with the cork board full of happy memories that she learned to be a loving and gentle person from her daughter. She answered the call of motherhood and accepted it, and seemingly has perfected it. For all of Silky's perceived flaws, it seems that she finds strength from them after all, because her daughter brings them meaning. What does it mean to work as a janitor? Well, to make ends meet. What does it mean to sell your love? Because she does it for her family, and it has to be done. So she does it. And to teach her daughter how to be a ballerina, she purchases 2 books to teach her. How did she afford the books to make her daughter happy? Well, glad you asked. It was through her work. I also love the Kappa the daughter wears, which is tied to other things in DanDaDan's world, and we'll get more into that in just a moment. But we see a brief moment where Silky, working at her job of a cashier, shows that she has 3 separate jobs to make money, meaning she literally spends her entire days from morning until night working. Seeing the money, she once again feels inadequate because she doesn't have enough money to afford a better life for her girl. You could also see this as a sign of desperation too, that these pieces of paper totally define her meaning to the world. That, in a way, she's lost focus of what makes herself special, and she in her head becomes, in essence, almost like a piggy bank for her daughter, that as long as she has money coming in, that must equal happiness for her daughter. That instead of feeling proud of herself for taking on the role of a mother and the father, the breadwinner and the homemaker, the money is what truly defines her worth in her own eyes. It also defines her daughter's happiness as well, and it's also what is expected from her in society. We see that Silky is living through her daughter as well. She is quite good at these poses and has an obvious natural talent for it, just as her daughter does. It shows that she's truly dedicated to everything that she does. And after practicing, Silky feeds her daughter. It seems her home is filled to the brim with Kappa too. The daughter is absolutely obsessed with them, which I think is the perfect time to understand why Kappa was chosen to be so heavily featured in these scenes. In Japanese folklore, Kappa are mischievous water spirits blending traits of turtles, monkeys, and frogs, symbolizing the dual nature of water as life-giving yet dangerous. Known for their pranks, ranging from harmless antics like stealing cucumbers to dragging careless swimmers underwater, they serve as cautionary figures, teaching respect for nature's unpredictability. Kappa also embodies the importance of manners, as their adherence to etiquette can render them powerless, reflecting cultural values. While often seen as tricksters, they can be helpful if treated with respect, symbolizing the balance between danger and cooperation. Once feared, they now appear in modern media as endearing characters, preserving their place in Japan's cultural imagination. So, based on this description, we can only assume that the most likely interpretation, the mother and daughter's fixation, seems to be to ward off evil, or rather ward off bad luck, that the Kappa in many ways represents their fear of the outside world and how harsh it can be and has already been to them. To me, this is both sad, but a source of love too, a source of respect for the world and everything. They are trying their absolute best to not have any bad luck befall them because they're trying to be respectful to the world. They're a clean, neat, and humble family that makes sure their space is always clean and they do things the right way with honesty and sincerity. Why? Because the world has already taken from them so much, and to cope with their reality, the Kappa symbolizes a stark reminder to be happy for what they have, to appreciate what they have, to take only what they need and be on their way. Silky and her daughter are good, humble, natured people who are honest and make honest livings, and come home to forget about everything and focus on the one thing that matters the most: family. In a role reversal, the daughter is the one to understand and realize that her mother is so tired because she works so hard for her. She may not really understand it all, but she's a human too. She gets it. She goes to wake her mother up so she can start her day. And for a moment, it seemed like she wouldn't wake up. This is actually a really clever subversion of a trope. You think right here, this is where she might have died from exhaustion. But no. The mother springs to life and tackles her and rolls around with her. I mean, this is actually another example of Silky's character in that she is always ready to be a mother. Even when she is exhausted and dragged back to consciousness by her daughter, she comes to and immediately is ready to answer the call. It's not even a second thought for her. Her daughter comes first, and that means always being up for anything, even if her body can't seemingly do it. That is because, as we've established, her daughter gives her energy to live life. And over time, those sad scenes feel more and more distant. I believe that this was done by Wincy and Swaru to show the state of mind of the mother. At her worst, when all she can focus on is the inadequate feelings that she has, her daughter reminds her that really none of that matters a damn bit, and it can all melt away. It's all just memories that eventually will be forgotten too, because what is most important is raising this little girl to be a happy little ball of energy. Despite Silky's life, they live a normal life, just like any other mother and daughter. And she watches. As her daughter dances, all eyes are on her. Now, this next part is up to interpretation. The mother is able to buy the dress and does so with the money from a slip. And where does she get that money? We'll discuss that in just a moment. But we do see the final moments between a mother and a daughter. Happy as can be, the daughter was wearing the pretty dress the entire time. Excited as can be. It is the girl's birthday, and the mother wanted to make this one a truly special day by spending all of that money to spoil her baby girl, all because she deserved to have that dress and be the center of attention, the center of the universe in that moment. She falls asleep in the lap of her mother with her dress still on. She really did make her daughter happy at that moment, and looking up at the night sky, she gazes at the stars. In this moment, she is acting on pure instinct to protect her child, who is now being taken by the two men. The once happy memory of the photo now splattered with blood. We see the man take the envelope and leave with the daughter in a speedy vehicle. You can assume she took the money from a loan shark or the Yakuza, or you can simply infer that maybe the men from her line of work found out about her daughter and took her to traffic her. Or maybe there's other interpretations. Maybe she stole the money. Either way, that is what happens to the little girl at the end, and she is taken and never seen again, not even by her mother. She regains consciousness, and the perspective switches to first person. Now, this is done to show the isolation the mother feels in this moment and the adrenaline pumping through her veins. Despite her grievous injuries, she is ready to fight tooth and nail for her daughter even now. Now, with busted teeth and covered in blood, she is brought back to her feet once again because of the strength her daughter gives her. But now that light has been taken from her as she reaches out in desperation. But her body has finally given out, and she can only watch as the vehicle leaves her sight, and so does her daughter. In Silky's final moments, she stands atop a building as the bright blue lights of the city flicker, overcast by the intense blue glow of the universe. At this moment, none of that matters any longer because the light has gone out in her life. So paying respect and giving a final adieu, she dances in perfect form and ends it all in that moment. With no more light in the woman's life, she felt she couldn't live any longer. She's betrayed the Kappa somehow. She's disturbed the balance. So she chooses to take her life, and the memories of her daughter flash before her eyes, and the one thing her daughter told her was the very final thing she thought. "Mommy, Thank you for all you do. To me, this scene represents something fundamental about life. Your status, your jobs, other people's lives, the clothes which represent a higher status, the items which you think will make someone happy. Literally, none of that noise means a thing in life. It's all pure distraction from what truly matters. Caring for someone and loving them. Not because you deserve it, not because it keeps the loneliness at bay, but because it's what humans do. We were made to care for one another, and without that in your life, then what are you? It might as well be dead. Silky was actually one fantastic mother, and she lost sight of what made her unique and special and important. Her being there to provide and love her daughter. Sure, she spent every day working like a dog to do it. She probably missed important places, important events, but at least she was there, and feeling inadequate, she chose to take the money which sealed her fate. In many ways, she tempted the Kappa, and if only she realized before it was too late that she did enough, that her daughter appreciated her for all you do, then maybe this story would have turned out a little differently, but it is what it is now. That's history, and all you can do is try to learn from it and not repeat those same mistakes. Home is where the heart is. Your family may not be perfect. You may work like a dog. Hell, you're probably treated like one and beaten like one too. But always remember what you're doing it for, and how much other people depend on you to be there for them. You may feel like you don't like life, but somebody likes you. And if you don't have somebody, realize that you do. You've got yourself to love and care for. And once you love yourself, you can start to love the world again and find love from others too. And ladies and gentlemen, do not give up. I may not know any of you, and you don't know me, but I do indeed love you, because we are all a part of this great human experience called life. And ain't it grand? You could be dead, but at least you're alive. Even if it is miserable, you are alive. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is not meant to pass time. This video is meant as a celebration of life. So thank you everyone for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you made it to the end of the video, let's get this video to 500 likes. Let's get 5 subscribers on this one, and leave a frog emoji in the comments below if you made it this far. I also have a dedicated DanDaDan channel where I cover new chapters of the manga every Monday, another channel where I cover new chapters of Chainsaw Man every Tuesday, and a podcast channel where I cover DanDaDan and other seasonal anime, along with another podcast channel dedicated to talking about new chapters of One Piece. So go check them out. I love it if you did. Bye-bye.